Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time watching, thank you so much for supporting the channel and clicking on this video. And please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if this is not your first time watching, thank you so much for continuing to support this channel. And please don't forget to share this video with whoever that you feel like it may be helpful to. And again, thank you so much, guys, for continuing to support the channel. I truly appreciate it. So let's get right into it. So in today's video, I really wanted to talk about the importance of having friends who have faith, the importance of having friends who are godly friends, the importance of having friends who have a relationship with God. So I wanted to talk about that because oftentimes we find ourselves in trouble. We find ourselves in season where we're struggling to believe. We find ourselves in season where we don't have faith, like where we don't really believe, and it's okay to say that. Like, there's been season where my faith was definitely not the strongest, and there's been seasons where my faith was like up here, like you couldn't tell me nothing. But in those seasons where we're doubting, where we're not praying as much, where fear is overpowering our beliefs, where shame is taking over, in the season of just, you could say in the lost season, or in the season where you feel lonely because you're not hearing from God, or maybe it's simply because you feel like God is not talking to you, or you're not deserving of hearing from God, in the season where you feel like you have to work to earn God's love, and you have to be perfect, and you have to do this, you have to do that. Regardless of whatever season you're in, or if you have ever been in any of those seasons, it's truly important to have people around you that could help you out of those seasons. And sometimes, like, I only knew the importance because I've been in those seasons, and I knew how it's the people around me that had the faith, that was praying for me when I couldn't pray for myself. Like, it is those people that really brought me out of my situation. And I really wanted to take the time to talk about that, because sometimes we don't have the faith. Like, you may be in a season right now where you don't have the faith for what you're believing God for. But guess what? If you have a sister or someone that you value, that that has a relationship with God, you know that you can go to this person and they will pray for you. You know that if I bring my issue and I go and I tell my sister that, it could be sister in Christ, it could be real blood sister, whoever it is that you have that relationship with, you know that if you go to them, like, even though you don't have the strength to pray, but someone is praying on your behalf. Like, I think that's so important, because there are seasons where I couldn't even pray. Like, all I could do is sing, or just be like, okay, God, like, like, you just gonna have to do this one. Like, there are seasons where, like, you literally are struggling to find the joy that's supposed to come in the morning. You're struggling to find the peace. You're struggling to find the peace that surpasses all understanding. Like, we are going to face those seasons in our lives. And I think it's just so important who we have around us in those seasons. Like, when we're facing those hard seasons, it's so important to have the right people around you. It's so important to have the people that can pour love, they can pour faith, they can pour grace, they can pour patience. They can pour happiness, joy. They can pour that into you. Because there are some seasons where you're going to feel like, okay, like, I don't feel like God is listening to me right now, so I'm just going to, like, take a step back. There are some seasons that you may feel like that. But in those moments when you're vulnerable and you share that with someone, one of your sisters, or anyone that you know has faith, you know that they're going to remind you of God's love. They're going to remind you of His mercy. They're going to remind you of His grace. And they're going to remind you, most importantly, of God's promise for your life. So if you don't have a community, And I'm sure most of us have at least one person in our lives that we can run to. But if you don't have that, definitely find a community, find a church home, find someone, or pray. Sometimes it's easy to say find someone, but for some people it could be hard to just find someone who can pour those things into you when you can pour it into yourself. It can be very difficult for some people, so my recommendation will be to pray. Ask God, Lord, like, I want to meet other believers in my community. Maybe you move somewhere and you're struggling to make friends. Like, maybe you're at a place where you yearn for that, but you're struggling because the people you have around you right now, they're currently not at that level. And it doesn't mean you're better than them. It doesn't mean they're terrible people either. But maybe you're in a season where you need something different, and that something different can only come from different people. So it's okay to pray and ask God, be like, Lord, like, I want to be a part of a sisterhood. I want to have a church home. I want to meet a friend that believes in you. I want to meet multiple friends that believe in you, that I can talk to you about. And He will provide that for you. And it may take some time, or it may not take some time. But God can definitely provide that for you, just like He has provided other things. So it's easy to say, find the community, find this, and you're probably having a hard time finding it. But I really want to say, if you are having a hard time finding, it's okay to pray. It's okay to not only take matters into your own hands, but also pray and ask God for guidance, and ask God to have these people just run up on you. Like, you minding your business and you start a nice little conversation with a stranger somewhere, and boom, you guys connect. So again, just be open-minded and ask God, and believe that He will put people in your path that will help you and meet the expectation for the season that you're in. But overall, if you do have those people in your life already, please do not be afraid to utilize them. Do not be shameful. Sometimes because we're lacking faith, sometimes we get ashamed to tell someone else, hey, like, I kind of don't believe God right now. And that's okay. Like, you should have someone that you can go to and tell them, like, hey, like, I need you to pray for me because I'm having a hard time praying for myself. I need you to believe for me because I'm having a hard time believing God for this. And it's okay. And that person can pour back into you, and they can also intercede on your behalf in prayer. They can go to God on your behalf. I've gone to God I was going to say on many behalves. I don't even know if that's a word, but I've gone to God so many times for others when I know, like, they're going through a hard season. Sometimes, like, people don't have to ask me to go to God on their behalf. Sometimes I will take time and pray, like, and dedicate a whole praying session just for that one person, simply because I know what they're going through and I know this is a hard season for them. So I want to intercede on their behalf and pray that God come through. And God doesn't only need your faith to do the miracle and blessing into your life. Like, someone else's faith can literally cause your miracle and can cause your blessing. So don't underestimate. If you cannot believe it for yourself, it's okay to go to someone else and ask for help. It's okay to ask for prayer, ask for guidance, and for covering, because sometimes, like, we cannot cover ourselves. That's why it's important to have these communities, because when you can't do it for you, someone else or a group of people can do it on your behalf. Like, I've been in seasons where, had it not be for the people that was praying for me, for the people that was covering me in prayer and going to God on my behalf, like, I probably would not be here. Because there were some seasons where I simply could not believe, or the pain was so much, I was blinded by the pain that I couldn't see the miracle. I couldn't see a way out. I couldn't see the blessing. You know what I mean? So it's okay. It's okay to be in a season where you can't believe, like, or because of the pain, because of the challenges, because of the one challenge after the next, and you got rid of this one and another challenge came because of that. Therefore you're struggling to have faith right now. You're struggling to trust God. But guess what? Like, just because you're struggling, it doesn't mean that you have to do it alone. It doesn't mean that you cannot ask for help. It doesn't mean that you cannot tell someone, like, hey, pray for me. I'm struggling to trust God right now for X, Y, and Z. So I need you to pray for me. I need you to pray on my behalf. So that's okay. And do not be ashamed about that. Don't let shame hinder you from asking for prayer. Don't let shame hinder you from saying that, like, you don't have much faith right now. Like, don't let shame hinder you from sharing and being vulnerable about where you are currently and where you are in the season that you're in. It's okay to be vulnerable. You don't have to be strong and look strong all the time and look like you have it together. But that is why it's important to have those people around you. It's important to have loving friends. It's important to have friends that can pour into you. So in those moments when you don't want to be strong, in those moments where you just want to be weak, and not that we should like embrace the weakness and sit in the weakness and only become that. But there are some moments where it's just like, stop trying to be strong all the time. Like, it's okay to weep and cry yourself to sleep sometimes. If that's how you have to let it out, then that's how you have to let it out. But guess what? The goal is to always get back up. So, yes, you're weeping. Yes, you're letting your guard down. Yes, you're taking the time to not be okay. Like, it's okay to take the time to not be okay. And I think sometimes, like, we don't normalize that because we have to put up a facade, or we have to show up this way, and, we have to look like we're good in front of our families, or we're good at work, and, but regardless of what it is for you, and of course, I'm not telling you need to be sobbing at work. There's been times I cried at work because I couldn't be strong anymore. There's been times where I've let some tears at work, honey, because the toughness could not hold anymore, and your girl had to let it out, and I let it out in the office job, and I had no shame in that. And of course, like, I didn't want to let it out in the office job, but I couldn't even hold it. Sometimes, like, someone just asks you, hey, how's your day going? And you just start crying, like, but I don't like crying at work, but if I had to let go, I let it go. I wipe my tears, and that's it. I left it alone, act like nothing happened. But at work, I do have super close people that I do talk to, and I have people that became friends, that it's more than just work, like, I have a super close friend that I work with, and we were friends before she started working where I work now. So, I have that blessing and that luxury to have like one of my closest friends to work with. So it's truly a blessing to have that. And what's so funny? Speaking of that, I go back to prayer, because I remember when I got the job that I'm in now, one of my prayers was, God, like, please put me somewhere that I could have meaningful relationship, meaningful connections, and where I could meet other people like you, but also be able to talk about you. I really pray for a meaningful connection, and God blessed me enough to have a meaningful connection that I already had before the job, and we just happened to work together. But I was also blessed enough to have other meaningful connections where I'm at work talking to people about God, where people are coming to me. I know I have this one person where we sat down in that cafeteria and I opened up my Bible app. I was like, listen, this is what God said, and this is what you need to believe, But in that season, she couldn't pray for herself. She was losing hope. She was losing faith. And I will meet her in that cafeteria on multiple days of the week. We'll have our little breakfast and we'll sit down, and I'll pour faith into her. I'll remind her of God's promises. I know one day it got so bad, she was talking crazy. I was like, And I had to pull out my Bible app. I ain't have my physical Bible. So I had to pull out my Bible app, Okay, which is why it's good to have the Bible app on your phone, because the word is still the word, physically or digitally. So I pulled out my Bible app and I pulled up it was Psalm 91. And I remember, like, girl, you are protected. So um I was saying a lot just now. But so in the end, it's truly important to ask God to place those people in your life. But most importantly, it's important to know that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be tough. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be vulnerable that you're struggling to believe in this season right now. It's okay to ask for a specific prayer, ask for covering, so it's completely okay. And if, like I said, if you're in a season where you want those relationships where you could be vulnerable, ask for help, ask for prayer, have someone intercede on your behalf, a relationship where you could talk about faith, where it always goes back to faith at the end of the conversation, where we're talking about life problem, but guess what? At the end of the conversation, we're reminded that no, God got this, and it's so funny because I have one of my other close friends that I was talking to her about a problem, and at the end of the conversation, we're like, yep, God got it. It's going to be okay. She was like, just believe, have faith, and it's going to be okay. We're going to figure it out. And, and we had a conversation about how, like, important it is to have faith and how important it is to have others that have faith too. Because when you have other people that have faith around you, when you're going through something, they're going to remind you to have faith. And it's always good to have those reminders. And sometimes, like, you think you're having faith and, like, someone else can recognize, look, I've seen you in other season. I know you got a lot going on right now, but I'm going to need you to trust God. The same way you trusted him last time, I'm going to need you to trust him again. So definitely surround yourself with these people. And if you don't have them, definitely don't forget to pray and ask God to provide those individuals in your life. I think that makes sense. Ask God to bring those people into your life. I don't know if to provide those individuals into your life, but yes, ask God to bring those people into your life, and he will do just that. And I hope this video blessed you. I hope you find it useful, and I hope this conversation was a great conversation. I hope it sparked some ideas, some thoughts, and please leave a comment and share what was your favorite part about this video, and what do you hope to do with learning and knowing what you know now if you didn't. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless you, and may you have an amazing rest of your week, and thank you so much for tuning in.